Now I'm going to talk to you about homeopathy and autoimmune diseases. Now, when we look at the word autoimmune disease, let's just split that up and understand that word. Autoimmune means a problem of your own immune system. It isn't a problem that comes from the outside. It isn't an infection. It isn't an allergen or any kind of an antigen that's attacking you from the outside. But it's that your own body's inner immune system is playing a havoc, and you are having a problem because of your own body, because of your own immune system. So why is it that we have so many autoimmune diseases today? One of the major causes for autoimmune diseases is stress. And of course, we know and we often talk about this word, stress. Everybody in today's world is stressed, from a little child who has to study a lot, to an adult, to the super mom who wants to achieve so much, to the guy who wants to make a lot of money in his life. Everybody is stressed today. How do we deal with it? One of the ways, of course, is that you do yoga and meditation, exercising, all kinds of things that relax you and de-stress you. But there is also a better way of dealing with stress. All of these things help you to a certain extent. But there is something that's needed, and that is a fundamental change in your own personality. A fundamental change in the way you look at stress. And that is what is achieved by homeopathy. Because stress is in the environment, and you cannot change the environment. What you need to change is yourself. This is where homeopathy comes to your help, because it helps to detect those loopholes in your personality that are sensitive to stress, and it helps to deal with them. What homeopathy believes is that though stress is a common phenomena, everybody perceives it and deals with it differently with respect, or rather, everybody deals with it differently as per their personalities. For the same situation of stress, everyone has a different perception and a different reaction to it. And this is based on everyone's own unique individual personality. Let me give you a simple example. Let's take the example of a traffic jam. Everybody at some time or the other is always caught up in a traffic jam. And of course we are stressed by it. But if I were to pick 3 people, all of whom were caught up or trapped in a traffic jam, each one of them would give me a completely different reaction. If I pick up the first person and ask him, what's your stress? He starts with saying, yes, it's the traffic jam, I'm completely stressed out. And then I ask him, so how does it affect you? What about the traffic jam bothers you? And he says, oh, then I might get late to my job. And getting late to my job means being scolded, being humiliated in front of 15 people. Because I'm sure my senior is going to pinpoint at me, he's going to call me, and he's going to yell and scream and humiliate me in front of all my 15 other colleagues. And what bothers me is being cornered like that. What bothers me is being confronted and then being humiliated in front of 15 people. I'd rather not have that situation. Then there's a second guy, and when I ask him, what happens to you in stress? He says, of course it's the traffic jam that bothers me. Can't you see the jam? I'm stressed out. And I ask him, yes, but what about the traffic jam bothers you? And he's going to tell me, oh, well, if I don't reach on time, then I lose on the deadlines. I've got to make a presentation, and I've got to nab this project, and I've got to get this, and I've got to achieve my targets by this time. And when I'm held up in traffic like this, I don't meet my deadlines. and I want to be the best presenter, the best performer. So I really get stressed in a jam. So whereas the first person was humiliated because of the jam or was anticipating humiliation because of the jam, the second person is not even thinking of humiliation. His problem is his deadlines, his targets. Then there's a third man who's also in the jam, and I ask him, what are you stressed about? And of course he says it's the traffic jam. And I ask him, what about the traffic jam? Are you humiliated? Do you feel that you're not going to be able to make it for your presentation or something? And he says, yeah, I do have a presentation lined up when I go to my work, but that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is I'm not so much interested in making the best presentation or being the best performer. I'm bothered about the fact that if I don't reach on time, I could be fired. I could lose my job. And that means money not coming into my kitty from tomorrow. And my major insecurity is the fear of poverty. And I keep thinking, I have a job and I'm very secure and everything is fine, but it's always that fear that I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose that security. So you see, the third person is thinking neither of humiliation nor of performance, achievements and targets. He's thinking of something completely different, and that's security. So each one of them is stressed out because of the traffic jam, yet deeper to the stress, what they are stressed out is about their own individual personality traits. For one, he doesn't want to be insulted. For the other, he wants to be the best performer. For the third, he wants to have a secure future. Homeopathy believes that each one undergoing stress is reacting differently, as I explained to you. Each one undergoing stress is perceiving situations completely differently from one another. And what we therefore look at is not your stress, not your disease, not your autoimmune disease, but the personality behind the autoimmune disease. The personality that's suffering from this problem. And we try to help the personality. Automatically, as we understand your personality and as we give you something that balances your own personality, the end result of this is that the disease is helped. The autoimmune diseases, the symptoms of your diseases are helped to a very large extent because your personality is balanced to a very large extent. Does that mean that if I take homeopathy, I'm going to be less of a performer? I'm going to be less of an achiever? I'm going to not be punctual anymore? Earlier I was so bothered about being punctual, but now that homeopathy is balanced parts of my personality, I'm not going to be punctual. I'm going to be late at work. Does that mean all of this? Or does it mean that, because I'm anxious and now homeopathy has made me less anxious, does it mean that it's going to drug me into a very, dull kind of a sleepy state? No. Homeopathy helps, or homeopathy affects or helps or balances your personality so that those things you are negatively sensitive to are healed, and therefore those things that are positive about you are enhanced even further. So if you're somebody who's an achiever but are bothered about deadlines, it helps you to relieve your anxiety about deadlines. The end result of it is that your targets, your performance is enhanced, because now you are not working with fear, but you're working with confidence. If you are somebody who is being punctual or who's being perfect because of the fear of criticism within, then actually it balances your fear of criticism so that you are next time going to do things perfectly out of a freedom of choice, not out of the compulsion or the fear of criticism. Therefore, as homeopathy releases all your negative fears, it actually enhances your positive qualities and allows you to be a much better, a much more prolific, and a much more successful personality. Because now you're working, you're performing, you're doing your daily things with freedom, with happiness, and with choice. Not with an underlying fear or anxiety. Which is why we say that when you come to homeopathy, you get health, you get happiness and freedom.